Well, LifeBlood, this is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Nancy Papesh. Nancy, are you ready to do this?
Yes, I am. Let's do this.
All right, let's go. Nancy is an MBA, an RN, and a BSN. She's the director of clinical operations at the Clinic by Cleveland Clinic. Nancy, excited to have you on. Tell us a little about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Great. Thanks, George. Well, really, I'm just a small town girl born and raised on a farm in North Dakota with a deep passion to serve and take care of others through the medical profession. From a very young age, I was really drawn to anything medical, whether nursing a baby lamb back to health or bandaging up my little brother. I knew that this was my calling. Early in my nursing career, I was very clinically focused with experience in critical care, emergency trauma, and flight nursing. That all prepared me for some of the fantastic opportunities at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, which led me to where I am today, which is I'm a wife, a mother of two, and I'm extremely fortunate to have the opportunity to work with the amazing team at the Clinic by Cleveland Clinic, a joint venture between Cleveland Clinic, leading world-renowned healthcare organization, and Amwell telehealth provider, providing second opinions to individuals around the world.
Nice. We were just talking about cold weather before we hit record, Nancy, and it turns out you are really, really familiar with cold weather. North
Yes,
Dakota.
I am. I tell people I moved to Ohio for warmer weather. They laugh at that.
Yeah, to migrate south. Well, I grew up in Duluth, Minnesota, so I'm mildly familiar with what you've got going
You,
on in North Dakota.
you absolutely are.
All right. Well, perfect. So the joint venture, I think it's exciting. What are some of the problems that you're working to solve and address?
So our virtual second opinion program is really an extraordinary service for individuals that are dealing with a new medical diagnosis or perhaps have been suffering with a chronic disease that are seeking to understand more about their diagnosis and to learn what other treatment options may be available to them. Perhaps you have a newly diagnosed heart condition and you're looking for surgical options for a minimally invasive repair, which will faster recovery, get you back home, get you back into your life quicker. Or maybe you've received a devastating cancer diagnosis and you really want to, number one, understand if the staging of the cancer, what is the true staging of the cancer, and what are all of the solutions that might be available to you. We are the perfect solution for individuals to seek an outside objective second opinion from the world's leading medical experts in their fields.
And I imagine that this is probably a service that has been done for quite some time, but now that we have just the the wonder of Zoom calls and other technologies, it allows people probably all over the country maybe to connect.
Absolutely. So how it works is we have a fantastic team of experienced nurses that connect with the individual virtually in the comfort of their own home through the Amwell technology platform. Our nurses learn a little bit about what the individual is seeking a second opinion for, what are their hopes, their goals, their objectives to learn more about their disease and what they're dealing with. From there, our team takes on the work of collecting all of the necessary medical information, identify the most, and then we work to identify the most appropriate expert physician at the Cleveland Clinic to review the case. We have access to over 3,500 physicians in over 500 subspecialties at Cleveland Clinic. The final step then in the process is we connect the individual and the doctor virtually to deliver the second opinion at a time that is convenient for both. All of this typically occurs within about 11 to 12 days.
Well, that's fairly amazing. That's fast.
Yeah.
So I there's so many things that I'm sure had to consider to create this and to successfully deliver the care. I I can only imagine the fear, and it's terrifying to get, bad news. And so you're very, very, I would be extremely emotional. So I'm sure that these nurses and certainly the physicians are needing to deal with that. And then I imagine there are compliance issues or challenges to work through when you're sharing information, um, virtually or electronically, or just among different parties.
Yep, our team works, again, really closely. We try to work with the local care team as well as with the facilities where the individuals are seeking care. That is a challenge for all of us, and we're continuing to work towards identifying solutions where we can more openly share the information, really to get it into the hands of the individual that is seeking to really take on and learn more about what is happening to them. Knowledge is power. The sooner that the individual can get on the right treatment path for the condition they are dealing with, it truly has such an impact on short and long-term outcomes. It enhances their quality of life, and it allows individuals the opportunity to live their best life, reducing the stress. Our whole team, um, I think anyone in the medical profession wants to do what's right for the patient, do what's right for the individual in that space. And our team works really, really hard to make this seamless for the individual going through the experience. We have found nearly a quarter of the patients really do experience some modification in the diagnosis. 3/4 of those patients receive additional treatment plan considerations that can be taken back to their local team, to their local care team to discuss. I'm truly humbled on a daily basis as I listen and learn from what others are dealing with. The resilience of the human spirit is amazing, and there is honestly nothing more gratifying than connecting these individuals to the experts that are masterful at treating the diseases they are experiencing. And that's our goal.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimately amazing thing. So, roughly speaking, a quarter of the people who receive a second opinion get a modification on potential treatment.
Yeah, it's a modification. It may be modifying of the diagnosis and or a change or additional treatment options to consider. Again, from the subspecialty experts at the Cleveland Clinic that deal with large volumes of patients that are at the stage of the illness or condition they are dealing with. There's many times that they have the opportunity to educate the patient on all that is currently available.
Yeah, I'm sure that I can't even imagine just the ocean of information that, as and then I imagine that me as the patient, I'm probably on the internet and I'm trying to Google and investigate all these potentially viable treatment options. But what better than to actually be able to connect with the nurse who can then connect me to the right doctor, who can connect me to the right specialist, so on and so forth. 3,500 doctors sounds like a lot.
Yes, yep, at the Cleveland Clinic, a large healthcare organization. And again, in over 500 subspecialties, that truly is taking, say in the field of neurology, they care for very specialized conditions in the field of neurology. So that is what we're able to do. If you're dealing with a diagnosis of epilepsy, or perhaps you have a cerebral aneurysm, we have subspecialists that work in all those different types of fields. That is their primary focus, and where they where they spend their day every day with all of the patients that they interact with.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the value of a second opinion, I think there's always been immense value in that, but now that I have access to these resources and a good percentage, 25% get some kind of a modification or different ideas, and or three quarters, I think you also mentioned, get some different ideas on different approaches that are possible. So that's invaluable, but there's probably a cost to this.
Yep, there is. So again, we do, there is an out-of-pocket expense for an individual going through this experience. We do partner with certain health plans and with employers, and it is our goal to continue to create access to this program through those health plans and employers as we continue to grow and continue to demonstrate the value of this for people. But the cost, I can honestly say that individuals that want to understand what might exist, it reduces the need for travel. They can stay locally. They're not flying to Cleveland or flying to a center of excellence to learn more about what's available. There's cost in all of that for travel, staying, and the volume of time that you may need to spend at that organization. Again, the cost is minimal compared to what you would spend when you're traveling to do those.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And it is makes sense also that as you have more data and information that you can go to insurance providers or payors and say, hey, we are, by getting this right, or by getting more accurate diagnoses or prescribing better treatment options, we're going to be reducing the overall cost of the medical care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is something that, again, I think it is key to, as I mentioned, getting individuals on the right treatment path can really improve those short and long-term outcomes and reduce the downstream impact of treatment that may not be as up to date as what is available in today's. We're making such huge leaps and bounds in care. When I think back, I've been in healthcare, dare I say, almost 30 years. And what I recall from my early days in the open heart ward, taking care of open heart patients in North Dakota, to what we are doing today, where they're going home within 12 hours, it's entirely different, right? It's
Wow.
so amazing.
That is.
I can't believe what I've been able to see in my lifetime and where it will continue to grow. And I really think that digital, our ability to access through digital means, through telehealth platform, is so key for us to grow and continue to create access for individuals across the board to the leading experts.
Yeah. So you mentioned that from the time that that it takes around 11 to 12 days. And I think that that's extraordinary. And obviously, I'm sure that you are working to minimize that number and to reduce it and to reduce it and to reduce it. How when the program started, well, like, I guess how long has the program been in existence?
We have been in existence for about 2.5 years, really heading into almost our third year. And, when we started, we had, our turnaround times have always been an area of focus to continue to, again, reduce those and get the information in the hands of the individual. I can tell you, if records are available digitally and we can get all the necessary consents from both parties, we have turned opinions around in under 24 hours. It's quite amazing. And as we continue to build out those pathways to share a medical information, that's going to be key to making that much more easy. And then things that can delay is if we are seeking multiple medical records from multiple facilities, obviously that can take a little bit longer. And so those are some of the challenges that we have, but our team, our care team of nurses and care coordinators work day in and day out to focus on getting in the necessary information to turn the opinions around as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you see a time where you have too many people using the service?
I can't imagine that at this point in time. I think that the access and the stories, and I have done this, I have lived a long life in healthcare, and I've seen a lot in my time and experience, and what individuals, the stories that come forward, just life-changing for individuals, truly life-changing. I would want this to be available to as many people as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that certainly makes sense. And through technology, it's probably going to happen.
Yes, that's the goal. We hope that we can make this happen.
Yeah. What is as you look at at the healthcare landscape, what do you wish that more people knew, just consumers of healthcare, that me as a healthy person, who's in my 40s, but it doesn't matter. What do you wish that more people did?
I think seek care, take control of their health. Knowledge is power, right? So understanding, staying ahead of things, obviously staying as healthy as possible, both physically and mentally, is so important. Diet, exercise, I can't say enough about mindfulness and meditation, what that does. Those are key to individuals living one's best life, whether they're fighting to stay healthy or they're fighting a disease, right? So I think that it's so important to just take control of your healthcare. Seek healthcare, understand if you have underlying conditions, and work to stay ahead of those, and understand what is possible for you. I think that we live in such a fast-paced world, we forget to take care of ourselves, and this is really, really key. That is, I would just wish that, because when you see the flip side of people waiting too long, I think we saw this in the pandemic, right? Individuals stopped getting preventative care. They stopped seeing their physicians and doing their regular follow-up. And then on the backside, they have dealt with a disease that's grown. And now we're at a different stage in the illness, and our options are less. And so I would just say, seek care. Knowledge is power. Consider getting a second opinion to validate that, and understand all treatments that are available to you. There is little harm in learning more.
Yeah, well said. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people learn more about you, and how can they engage with the Clinic by Cleveland Clinic?
Absolutely. Head to our website address, which is clinicbyclevelandclinic.com. Here you can learn more about the program. You can hit the Get Started button, or if you're not quite ready to start, but you want to learn more, you can submit questions to our patient liaison team. We're here. We're happy to talk with individuals if they're thinking about it. Again, clinicbyclevelandclinic.com.
Love it. Well, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Nancy your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to clinicbyclevelandclinic.com and check out the great resources. Click the Get Started button if you are, in fact, ready to get started, or you're also able to submit questions and start a dialogue as well. Thanks again, Nancy.
Thank you, George. Really appreciate it. Take care.
And until next
Happy
time.
holidays. Safe travels.
You too. Oh, thank you. Until next time, remember, Do your part by doing your best.